You wanna go on my shoulder? Did you just startle yourself with yourself? Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Abby Stone at The Curly Haired Keeper. Today I want to talk about future plans that I have for my snakes. Such a cute face. It's not mine. So earlier I did a poll on Instagram about what to talk about this week on YouTube, and future plans for my snakes was the winning topic. If you want to be a part of what I choose to talk about on YouTube, you can always follow me over on Instagram at The Curly Haired Keeper. So thing number one for future snake plans are enclosure upgrades. I have one permanent enclosure already together for my Colombian rainbow boa Ivy, and I have two other snakes, Twee, who is filming with me today. He is my BCI, my boa constrictor imperator. He's a VPI T-positive snow. He's gorgeous. And a super dwarf reticulated python. So him and Aries, my super dwarf reticulated python, I have two new enclosures coming for both of them. Twee should have his permanent enclosure. It's a 6x2x2 from Toad Ranch. Aries is a 6x4x2, also from Toad Ranch. Aries, I might need to upgrade one more time depending on how big he gets. But either way, they'll be more permanent enclosures, and I'm going to be upgrading them to bioactives. At least I think I'm going to do bioactives. I'm going to attempt anyway to do bioactives for both of their enclosures. They're going to have obviously a lot more space. They're both in smaller enclosures right now. Twee right now is in a, oh my goodness, he is in a like 2.5 by 1.5 by 1.5 PVC. So he's in an enclosure that's, in my opinion, way too small for him. So he's gonna get a massive upgrade. And then Aries is in a 3 by 1.5 by 1.5, I believe. So he's also getting a massive upgrade size-wise as well. And they're gonna get lots of enrichment and plants and space to explore. So yeah, excited about those builds. For those enclosures, I will be doing personalized built out backgrounds, so the whole foam, molded, cork bark, all of those kind of things for that background. That made no sense. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to custom build those backgrounds for both of them. I will say one of the plus sides to having a snake for a while before you build out a more permanent enclosure is you do get to know how they like to interact with their environment and their surroundings and more about their personality. So it has given me a better idea of how I want to build out those enclosures. If you are in that same situation where you are keeping a snake in a smaller enclosure than you necessarily want them to be in and have future plans for a larger space, use that to your advantage to really observe and see how you want to create that space and utilize that space for them once you have it. The other thing I'm going to be doing as far as enclosure upgrades is rearranging the space in my home to create the room I need to set up these larger enclosures. Me and my husband live in a city. We have a smaller home and we keep some big-ish snakes. So Twee will probably get around 6 feet long, maybe a little bit bigger. Aries could get up to 8 to 10 feet long. So bigger snakes, smaller house, larger enclosures in smaller house. I will be rearranging some rooms or a room to fit 3 larger enclosures in a smaller city home. So I will be documenting that to show you how I manage that and keep these animals in a larger space while living in a small home in the city. The next big step for me as far as snake keeping is moving. So again, we live in the city in a small home. We only have a finite amount of space in which to keep the animals that we have, at least in the way that we feel we want to keep them. I really enjoy keeping my snakes in a large enclosure, so they have a lot of space to explore, a lot of space to have tons of enrichment. That's my preference. That's how I like to keep my animals. I can only fit so many of those really large enclosures in a smaller house in the city. So we are going to be looking to move to a bigger home with maybe a little bit more property. So once that happens, that will open up a little bit more space to add a few more animals. What are you doing to my dress? This is what boas do. He's hanging on to my dress. It is your color. You're so silly. Whenever my husband and I do find a larger home with a little bit more space, I do plan on adding a few more snakes to my serpent family. Top one on my list is an IMG boa. I want to get the kind of the antithesis of Twee, so a darker boa. Twee's name is from one of my favorite shows from my childhood, and that I already have a name for my IMG boa. It's a whole story. If you want to hear about it, just let me know. I'll make a separate video about it. Just comment below if you're curious. It's super nerdy. Other snakes that I am planning on getting is, or would love to get, anyway, I don't want to say plan, I don't want to freak my husband out, but other snakes that I would love to get another morph of reticulated python. I think purple albinos are just gorgeous, and I also just love the personality of reticulated pythons. Having Aries has just been super fun. They're very interactive, so really curious if that is kind of the norm for that species, or just to see different personality types within that species. And then I'd also like to expand out on different python species as well. So I'd love to get something like a southern white-lipped python. I think they're beautiful, and also just curious about different python personalities as well. Again, all of these types of snakes take a little bit more space. We do not have the space right now to keep them. We have the space to keep them as babies, but not as adults. If we have enough space, eventually I might wind up getting a colubrid. I don't know. I'm a sucker for palmetto corn snakes. I just think they're adorable, and yeah, maybe someday. We'll see. Let me know. Should I get a palmetto corn snake? So another thing that people always ask me is breeding plans. What are my breeding plans? I have none. I don't plan on breeding any of the snakes that I own. I think there are plenty of wonderful, responsible breeders producing amazing, beautiful snakes in the world already. I don't think I need to add another breeder into that mix. Again, that's my thoughts right now. It could change in the future, but I mean, a lot would need to change, including my current career. So I don't see that happening at any point. So yeah, right now, no breeding plans for any of my snakes. I just really love beautiful snakes with wonderful personalities. So that's why I choose the species and morph of snakes that I choose. The last plan that I have for the future is simply to grow the channel. I have a couple of reasons I want to grow my channel. The primary reason is to share how amazing these animals are with the world. There's a lot of amazing channels already doing this. I think one more channel in the mix is always a good thing, especially when there's not so good channels out there spreading not great misinformation about amazing animals like snakes and continuing myths and misinformation. So that's one of my future plans. Again, we'll see what happens. The other reason I want to grow my channel is to help support and spread awareness of other channels and organizations like USARK that help keepers like myself do what we want and need to do in order to keep this community thriving in a world where the majority of people don't want to see us thrive or even survive. There are a lot of people are looking to tear down this community. So really just utilizing this channel to build each other up and build awareness. The other thing you might see on this channel, dude, I really am wearing clothes, I promise. It's hot, so I have on a summer dress and he's covering up the dress with your beautiful body. Yes, show it off. Work it. The other thing you might focus on me. There you go. The other thing you might see coming up on this channel is more artwork once in a while. I do very amateur art now and again, and I would love to start doing more and offering it as either auction items or like portion of print sales to organizations like USARK to help further boost and support them. So that's something to look out for on this channel if that is something you are interested in. Yeah, that's about it. The only plans I really have solidified right now are the enclosure upgrades. Those will be happening probably sometime in August. And yeah, the other stuff is just kind of waiting until we have more space. So if you want to stick around, see if and when those future plans come to fruition, please hit that subscribe button. Like this video, share, that's always appreciated, and I will catch you next time. See you later. Face. Her little face, it's so cute.